So, Sandy, the last 6 months were quite exciting, and we spoke about new clients which we onboarded. And I think we stopped somewhere around new space. We were speaking about new space. We were in a search for new space. There was one option, basically near the terrace house. It was quite nice option, nice amount of meter squares, which was good fit for us, but we needed to renovate. At the end, we even found a company who is going to renovate. When we almost concluded a deal, thanks to God that we didn't. And Sandy, you were keen even before that one for searching the browsing the internet and searching for a new space. And then you finally found something which is quite good for us and which we use today.
Yeah, we found our new home finally. As you point out, we had long-winded negotiations with the people for that other space, but then it didn't pan out. Meanwhile, I kept looking, and actually this space came around even earlier. I saw it earlier, but for some reason, I think we jumped over it because we either heard from somebody that the
It's too
price
pricey.
was too high or something, I don't know, but we skipped it. But I kept it somewhere on my list. So once the negotiations took a wrong turn, basically, I went back to my list and went through everything I had, and then this came up again. So we kind of decided, what the heck, let's just give it a try. And yeah, turned out actually better than we expected. It was
Definitely.
almost like, almost we didn't have to almost do anything. Yeah, we had to,
Take the furniture and stuff like
Right,
that, but
right.
the rest was there. Yeah, we needed. Now, when you mentioned it, the negotiations were also smooth, I would say. We agreed on price quite easily, and we agreed with them. And then we just needed to renovate the kitchen because this space where we are now in, we didn't have the kitchen, and we had a month. Because the client was visiting us, we needed
Yeah,
to
to
finish
be in
up
the new space.
the kitchen and
Yeah.
the furniture and everything. And yeah, we needed to move our existing stuff from the terrace house to new space. That was also quite nice time where everybody helped. And
And the funny thing is, like, when you guys were moving, I was on vacation, so I got away
don't
without
remember.
doing anything there. Yeah,
I
that
don't
was quite
remember
nice.
it.
I just came back and I started immediately in this space. And the funny thing, another funny thing is, actually, the first day we entered, as a company here, we had immediately the visitors from our client here as well. So it was quite an interesting day. We
Yeah,
were
and
settling in still.
if you remember, day before when they were coming here, even few days before we were coming here, they were finishing the work on kitchen
The
and
kitchen.
everything to be prepared for the guests. And if you remember, the last night before, you and me were doing last cleanup of things and rearrangements before the guests came. And yeah, as you mentioned, the colleagues crew, Husnu, the dude, and with the crew, he came here to visit us, and we had a really nice, let's say, working Friday where we worked together with them. We went to lunch, and then we had some presentation about the sunray, about how we work and how we behave as a company internally. And then we went on a dinner, and later on we went on a picnic tomorrow, right? If I can remember.
Yeah, that
Sunday.
was a Saturday. Yeah, we went to Foinset to the Prokoško Lake, and it was an interesting experience as well because we took those old jeeps and then climbed them through less than ideal roads, and I think that's probably what they're gonna remember the most because it's quite unique.
Yeah, and
experience.
usually you don't let's say get your clients and move them into the nature, into the lake on the mountain with the jeeps and everything, and then cook a lamb basically in front of them.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was quite nice experience, and they loved it basically. And And it was also interesting thing that we had one employee, and during this period, we moved to a new space. Then again, because of the starting project of Hirebasis, we needed to hire one person. We started collaboration there, and we needed to hire a few more persons because we were full on all sides. And one of the employees was Amar, and his first day was basically in the company, which was interesting. This trip which we had with the clients, his first day in the company was going to a mountain with jeeps and everything. The clients were visiting us, and I think he had a amazing first day, definitely. And how we hired him, he was really stubborn on the LinkedIn. I kept declining him Sunday, I think 3 or 4 times, but he was really stubborn and give me the task, give me the anything, I will do it. And at the end, we called him to interview, and we pulled him up. And we also, I think, at this moment, expanded team of marketing. We started expansion there. We started getting traction, few clients, and Fatima came, and we hired one more QAPM person, which was Amina recommendation from basically from Maida.
From Maida, yeah. It was another growth spur. As you point out, like many things, and we discussed it the last episode as well. We were getting new prospects all the time, starting multiple different projects, and also always trying to have somebody in the barrel so they can work on our internal project as well, on our startup. So we at some point we found ourselves, at a point where we actually had some extra budget and we were short-handed. So that was a hiring frenzy at that point because we had many interviews, and then only the few of them obviously got hired. But yeah, it was still a lot of work. People were coming in and out like every day.
And even after that hiring, the first podcast episodes were released. Last season was starting to release at this period, at starting of the summer. Just the main episodes. And that was also like a nice milestone for us that we could, let's say, see finally live our, let's say, 8 months, 9 months of hard work of bunch of people.
Is that like July?
I think July.
Because I remember I did my vacation in 2 parts, and then the second part of my vacation, I actually watched our first episode on YouTube on my vacation, so that's how I remember it.
We already mentioned Hirebasis, how we've managed to acquire the client, and how we basically got at that moment 2 developers, 1 PM QA person, and we took over the marketing where we polished the Hirebasis social media stuff. We started working with the advertisements for them, setting up the campaigns, and we had a deadline. First deadline was because the project itself, the web app was in a not nice shape visually, and it had a lot of bugs. I remember that first thing which I proposed was let's pull in the QA person, let's find out where are we basically, and it had I think 130-40 bugs, which we started to fix. And beside that one, we started to, and designer was there obviously because we were redesigning the whole app, and that was also quite challenging for us because few people. This was like our first client where we had full control with everything, basically, which we want at the end as a company to be full product development company, not just with the software development, but with the business development and marketing itself. And it was quite, let's say, nice and learning period.
I'm kind of reflecting on the technical side of things now. It was kind of a difficult sell, right? Because you're telling your client, okay, I know you paid for this website that you think you have, and you think it works like this, but when we looked, it's not as nearly as good as you thought it was. So now we'll have to go in and rehaul some things if you wanted to scale. I think you needed to do some convincing, because I know with other clients, it's always a tough sell to tell them that it's not really working as it should.
Yeah, definitely. And the good part with what I mentioned, it's good that you mentioned this because we didn't spoke about this part. When he was coming to us to consult, I remember he was showing us a list of bugs, and they were telling him, okay, this is not by us, this is not going to be fixed, this is not agreed in the price. And at the end, I don't know, he had a list of, let's say, 40, 50 bugs. 20 of them, they will fix it, and it was taking too long for them to fix it.
Right.
And I think we did a quite good job. We promised in 2 months that we will fix all of these bugs and redesign the site. And we had some small problems there, to be honest. We already spoke with Hassan on our client testimonials. We were late basically, I think, 2 weeks. And to basically catch up with the deadline and to accommodate 2 weeks, we offered one more developer for free in the last, let's say, 2 or 3 weeks. And he was working to help out the guys to get to a needed deadline, which was quite good thing, which we did definitely. And we always show this. We mentioned win-win situations.
Yeah.
We tend to have that relationship always, and this was also one of those examples.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, first of all, you're trying to make your commitment, so it's really your fault that you didn't do a better analysis and estimation. And then it's not really I mean, it comes at a cost for us, but it's not that much of a cost when you look at the grand scheme of things and you realize that you're securing your trust of a client, that you're going to follow through with what you promised. So I think definitely it's a worthy investment. And it's a good strategy to take. Just, sometimes, okay, so we made a mistake for whatever reason, we'll take the hit, and we'll maintain the relationship. So yeah, I definitely think that was a good call.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing was also there, we were finishing out that one, and I remember I was having a call with him as he was in USA, late evening, 12:30, on a parking in front of my apartment, and I agreed. There, I was in my car, and we were speaking about, okay, we are finishing up the redesign phase. Hassan, what to do next? Please, do you have time to visit us, to come to our new office, and that we spent a week, that we spent it on brainstorming, on seeing which crucial parts we might be fixing, and agreeing on next steps of getting the web app into a shape where it would be stable for further usage. The key thing also is to mention here that he also had a nice steady growth with us fixing these phases.
Right.
I remember, Sandeep, correct me, maybe you had also the number. It was between 10 or 15,000 users were onboarded at that moment when we took the website. And after the redesign, we came, I think, to maybe 30,000, and now it's around maybe 50, 60,000 of users.
So it's a steady growth anyway.
He had a steady growth, and we definitely saw what was also good part. I remember that the bounce rate really was good after the redesign phase. So we did a quite good job. We didn't just do the redesign itself. We did the UX improvements, which made users, let's say, tend to use the website more and to stay on the website basically more and more.
Yep. Also, I mean, I know Hassan had his SEO guy as well, but we did kind of contribute there as well, and we were support to him, and I think we worked closely on that. So yeah, all in all, as you said, it was really a chance to show that we can do everything ourselves in-house, which was really nice for a change, because you always, while it has its joys when you collaborate with other people, it also sometimes helps when you have control and you can kind of take the entire idea and push it forward, and it's completely in your hands. And I think we've pretty much done a good job there as well.
We had our own problems during this period, but I think also the thing which he liked is, I remember that he was communicating them with Google Docs and these lists of in Word written bugs and everything. What we agreed from the start, we were leading documentation from the beginning.
Yep.
How to set a project, where are basically where are the pinpoints of the application, what is where, what are we doing? It's all documented. It's all how many bugs we fixed, how many tickets we did during the redesign phase. And I remember now, Sandy, that we didn't mention also the handover part from other companies. The name is not important at all, but the handover took us quite a long time because they didn't have any kind of documentation, and they were switching developers. I remember my meeting. I was on a meeting with 5 persons, and 5 persons, nobody knew everything. Somebody knew some things,
Right.
and it was hectic at the beginning.
So that was later in the actually negotiations or talks when they tried to hand over the site. I remember coming to a first meeting or two, and there basically they spent an hour talking about trying to convince Hassan not to leave at all. So they didn't give us anything. And then, it took time for him to convince them to actually start the handover process. And then those meetings came when, they had to scramble to collect their documentation. But yeah, we were kind of working on, as we discussed the last time, we were working on setting up documentation ourselves for everything sunray related, and we were kind of just fresh, out of the forge, in a matter of speaking. We knew exactly what we were going to do because we've just done it for our project, Plenum, and also some of the processes that we documented in Sunray. So it was a perfect time to just continue and do the same thing there. And, when we noticed how painful the transition was when we took over the project, we as you mentioned, we did extra care to first document everything. And in case we needed to hand the project over to somebody else, we had it covered all in documentation.
And after that one, like it was last day of his visit, we were like also hanging around with him 5 days and then going outside and everything. Last day there was a tricky part where Hassan basically wanted to let's say cancel the cooperation. It was one weird bug with the funds, nothing super important, but it was miscommunication between the Hassan and the team. Basically, bug took, I don't know, 1 hour to fix it, but it was miscommunication. Hassan was prioritizing this even before coming to Sarajevo. I didn't know about that one, and he wrote me like email in Thursday that, okay, this is, I don't know, too costly if you are not able to fix this bug which I'm mentioning. I want to, let's say, to think of other options. And then I remember I pulled him into a meeting and we had this discussion. Okay, yes, you are paying more, definitely, but please take a look what you have from us. And we acknowledged our mistakes. I apologized for it. I immediately assigned developer. Developer resolved it like quickly. It was nothing super important, but that sparked him a probably previous traumatic experience, which he didn't
I was
like.
Gonna get there. Yeah.
And I remember how I explained him the value which he's getting here. Every week meetings. Every week he's having a meeting, half an hour. We had weekly sprints. What we have been doing last week and what we are doing the next week. And he had a quite good insight in whatever we did, and he had a documentation on all places. The other quite good benefit which he had. So there were support from you, Sandy, from tech leads, from me, even in some moments, like 3-4 persons were quite involved into the project that we succeed. And when I explained him this, let's say, wide purpose, and I told him how many bugs do we have now, and how many did we have when we took it over? How much more stable the app is? How are we growing? And he at the end settled down and saw the value which we are providing to him. Probably he had that somewhere in mind, but he didn't know the full value of it until you explain him, until you clear the mind to him. And thanks to God, we continued the cooperation after that one. We planned for the next 4 months, like after that meeting.
Yeah, and then we actually, even though we first just attempted to stabilize the application through these talks, we actually came up with new features as well, and still we started working on the extra stuff. So I mean, as for the value, I touched upon this point earlier as well. It's really hard for clients to understand what they're getting when you're investing your time into let's say, making sure the application is going to scale, making sure that all the technologies used are fit together and are working together to do. I mean, I can name one example that we discovered very, very late in the process, just because we didn't even think to look there. It was a simple thing, but I at some point we were trying to deploy something, and I noticed that every time they publish a blog, they would have to rebuild the entire application, republish it, which was ludicrous. I mean, it's just a thing, right? It should be auto-generated, and just that little change probably ended up saving a lot of build time. And I'm not sure about we're not directly paying his hosting. I think
No, he was paying for that.
Right. So probably in the long term also saved a lot of cost there, because we skipped a lot of builds for something that should be so obvious to set up, but wasn't handled in the beginning. And we didn't even think to look there because it was just so obvious that it should work.
And yeah, this was all reported to him. And I remember now also the security was breached.
Yeah.
In some cases, it was really nonsense. We couldn't believe which we find out later on, because we started to dig deeply when we saw these holes, let's say. But yeah, and the value which I also told him beside us, I was also involved in these weekly meetings with him one-on-one and proposing the new features, the new ideas. Also the developers itself, the team was doing that, and he had a team on his own to let's say fulfill his wishes. And we also, when he was stating something, we need to do it like this because of our previous expertise in the field of software development and startup world. We were sometimes even against his opinions, and because it was not let's say so good proposal, or we came up with a much better proposal than initial one.
But it was a back and forth,
and he liked that part. He liked the openness from us, which and also he had a relationship, I remember, with me and with you also. When he came, we had a quite good conversation even outside the job. Right. So yeah, I remember also at this time with this one, somehow we started to integrate, Sandy, the personality test inside the company itself, and that was also a nice, let's say, insight. We do not, how can I say? We tend to see what are we spoke with performance reviews and everything, and we tend to see what are the deeper things around our people, what kind of personalities are there, so we can match them differently based on different personalities on some projects. For example, somebody is a better communicator or initiative guy, and somebody is more technical, and we would pair them, and we would have a really nice fit in those moments.
You were talking about those big 5 traits, right? And then that everybody's put in a categorized. Yeah, and also I think Maida took a point there, and she made that big table with all of us, everybody. And how we fit together. Yeah,
but even without using that one, we somehow saw with the reading about those personality itself, you don't even need that table. You know your people, and you know the strengths from performance reviews, but also that gave another nice insight.
No, I was talking about the one where it shows how different...
Compatible you are.
Compatibility.
Compatibility with other people.
You know what the funny thing is? The 2 most incompatible things.
You and me.
Yeah. Couldn't be more different.
Yeah, but we didn't mention it a lot, but we somehow, and I saw it somewhere, I think Airbnb did the same thing, Sandy. We invested a lot into the communication between us, not just personal, private, but the business communication. We had those coffees. We had always the time for us. There were periods of stressful moments when we didn't have so much time. But again, we noticed that one and said, let's a bit group up and speak around the things and align. Which is, I think, the biggest thing for me is that communication and open communication between us, where we can state openly what bothers us. Then we easily resolve the problems, and we do not let those problems collect and then make a big problem out of that one. And that helped a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm not really much, well, as you know, of a talking guy, but definitely helps to put things out there on the table and then just go over them, because even if you don't address them immediately, you at least know how the other person feels about those things, and you don't have to guess, because when you start guessing, then everything
Problems,
goes.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Pure.
so you just talk about it openly, and then we can even agree to disagree on a few occasions. But usually, whenever we did have a difference of opinions, we either resolved it or we came up with a completely new decision, or
Even better than-
that worked out even better.
Yeah. So after this one, the first big problem came. We were working on Hirebasis. Hirebasis, things were settling down. I had, let's say, I will call it my mistake. We employed one employee. The name is not important at this moment. The first employee in Hirebasis. Basically, I employed him in pass around. I saw him. I saw his energy. I liked his energy which he had, and we interviewed him. I even told you, I know that we will have, even though after the interviews, I know, Sandy, that we will have problems, but I think I believe in this guy. He has something really nice, and I still believe today that he has a really nice grit if he manages to fire it up properly in a proper direction, to not focus on negative things. I think that he will do the big things. And I remember 3 months passed, and he was like, let's say, problematic with these reviews and getting the feedback itself. And he was somehow, I doubt that he did it intentionally. He didn't probably had a different way. He somehow got impact on the team because he had leadership skills.
Right.
He got impact on the whole team that, I don't know, the project is bad and everything that thing is bad.
Yep.
But
Yep.
at the end,
Yep.
okay, it is bad, but let us push the things forward. Let us make it good.
I
in a
remember
good-
actually telling that many times to the team, and in the end, it kind of caught. But not in that period. It took a while for them to understand, because the reason that the code and the project is in so bad shape is that, I mean, that's the reason that we get the project, right? Because otherwise, the other company would have finished it. So
Yes.
I mean, look at it as an opportunity. Also, and this is maybe interesting to the tech guys mostly, but the worst projects are where you're going to grow the most and learn the most. Because
Yes.
when you start writing something from scratch, it's quite easy. You go look at a tutorial, or you just go read a reference or something, and then you create something that's, you have no constraints. But when you have something that's actually live in production, and you have to tinker around and watch that you don't break anything else while continually improving things, that's actually the difficult part. And I kept repeating this to team on many occasions, and then at least some of them I know recognized this, and then actually realized that it was a great opportunity for them to grow as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I was also suggesting that one, the same thing, because you cannot always complain in life. That life doesn't work like that. If you complain, you will end up being in a complaint always. You will not go out of that one. And that guy, I remember I also had sessions one-on-one. Please, what do you need for us? Can we change something? He was going into some small conflicts with the people and everybody. And I remember I'm not sure if you were on vacation or something like that. I made a decision. Usually, after 3 months, we give the people like full-time contract with no ending game. And I decided, because of all of this turbulence, because I tried with words, I tried with motivation, I tried with everything to change him, to shift his mindset into a positive direction. It didn't work, actually. And I gave him a new contract for 3 months, right? And Monday morning, my wife was pregnant, and basically I was not working. Monday morning, 8:30 in the morning, I remember I got the baby. Omer was born, and I was happy, like, I don't know. And in 9 a.m. in the morning, I got the call, I'm leaving the company. And I won't come to work. I won't do anything. I just want to leave the company. Okay, what's the problem? I don't want to talk. You didn't believe in me. You gave me just 3 months contract. If I didn't believe in you, I would fire you after these 3 months, right? And I remember it's a quite hectic moment, because you needed that. It was all of the sudden, right? and I don't know. I felt like hell. On the one side, you are like joyful, happy, and on the other side, you have like in your stomach something. How this could happen, and now how will I explain to Hassan? And I remember I was in front of your building. I don't know why, and I was speaking with Hassan on the phone about this one again in the car. I had nice conversations with Hassan in the car, and I was explaining him, Hassan, this happened and this happened. I honestly told him what happened and everything, and Hassan told me, okay, Rehan, I understand you. We will change it, no problem. And also, as Hassan is lawyer, he told me you have a contract. You can sue him for like not doing the resignation period.
Right. Notice period. Yep.
Yeah. And Hassan took it quite well. And Hassan had a hunch. He told me that I liked all of the people and could define them in the team, but I could not define this guy. He was like, I saw the energy in him and everything, but I could not properly define him. And thanks to God that cleared up nicely, and that we resolved that problem quite easily and change him with another person.
It's a shame that it happened. Really, I mean, I was also feeling really bad for you because I know it was supposed to be one of the highlights of your life, the entire life when you get a kid. I know how that feels. And then to get that news and, have to argue with somebody when you just want to, drop everything and go see your wife or do something else. So that must have been, I don't know, I don't even want to go there. But it's also a shame on a for the guy on a personal level because he had great potential. We both saw it in him. So, I just wish for him that he just turns around and just settles down a bit and thinks about things, and I'm sure he can do great things if he just focuses and turns towards positivity instead of just thinking about negative things. Maybe life treated him bad, so that's where he ended. But you can't always. You have to look on the bright side from time to time.
Somehow I stick to him because I had some similar moments with the previous hiring and toughness in these relationship in jobs before. Probably that was the reason that I saw that potential that it could be done. I did it. It could be done. And I remember that day, Sandy, in the afternoon, I was feeling so empty. I was with Mirza on his let's say a place in nature, where we were sitting, and I was like empty, like hell. 2 hours I was sitting like this, emotionally drained. I can't remember when I was emotionally drained like that. Like I stated, happiness on the one side, and on the other side, some kind of weird feeling inside yourselves. How did it happen? What was the reason? And questioning yourself. And we started because it was resignation. Sandy, you remember that we have a practice when somebody leaves the company, we collect all the company, collect it together, and we spoke openly what happened, why are we leaving, what are the things that we did, and we even buy presents for those who definitely, not for all, but that guy didn't even want to come to that meeting. Yeah. He just came here for resignation and anything, and we had a argument, me and him there, and he just left. He didn't want it to be in front of whole people because he was also emotionally hit, definitely. Yeah. And but yeah, it was quite I don't know, challenging firing, let's say.
Yeah, it's sad, but sometimes I mean, even with the good intention from all sides, it just the things just don't work out. So I think that's what happened there. I don't think he had ill intention towards us, and we certainly didn't have any toward him. But yeah, I mean, and if you think about when it could have happened, it couldn't have happened at a better time because if he dragged it some more, maybe there'd be some resentment or whatever later on. It just
it was better for both of the sides. Yep. And Avdo stated a good thing 2 days, 3 after that one. Which stuck me, and there I realized, Rehan, you had in mind him like a project, like some kind of your project where you could shape him and move him in a different direction, and that stuck me definitely. And I was thinking a lot about that one, and I think he was right with that one. Because we knew at the beginning, I told you, I can't quite read people through the interviews and everything. And I knew that we will have the problems, but this kind of...
I mean, I think you even saw a bit of yourself in him, from the earlier period. So that could be also it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you understood him better than I did. So
yeah,
for sure.
And definitely after this let's say a person giving a quit, soon after that one, another person gave a quit in marketing. Remember Maliha?
Yeah.
And that was quite different, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, she was very civilized about it. She came, explained to us that she had a better opening that she felt like she had to take. We asked her, if that's what she wanted. She said yes, and we said okay. So good luck with that. And that's a completely opposite experience to what just happened with the other person. Yeah. And I think, when you were mentioning before how the rest of the team got, a bit negative as well, because he kind of had this natural kind of leadership that he kind of exerted on them. And I think a lot of the team actually felt like we done something wrong to him because of the way that he left. I think that, nobody talked about it openly, which is even worse, but you could feel the tension in the air. And then I think when they saw how we parted ways with Meliha, who actually, just came to us normally and said she wanted to move on, I think that only then did they believe that we actually did try our best to keep the both of them. And when they wanted to leave, but that's it.
Yeah, definitely. And I remember how much even I had the private communication outside the work with him on the Viber itself, where I was trying and pushing to move him in a correct direction. But yeah, at least I love these experiences because you can learn a lot and you can put yourself a bit aside and see how everything played out and why. Because we had a hunch definitely at the beginning, but it's good that we tried it at least. And we need to thank him also for the work which he did. The work itself.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The work itself was not the problem. The mindset basically was the problem, which he had. And yeah, definitely thank you for supporting us these few 3-4 months on Hirebasis. He was helpful there, definitely.
Yeah, he was a great contributor, that's for sure. And yeah, as you say, I mean, the mindset was the problem, and hopefully he'll overcome it and be the best version of himself. So I sincerely wish him that.
Yeah, and around during this period, we also started, beside these personality tests and everything, we started to do also technical interviews with employees. We started a bit to reshape a bit more and structure the interview itself.
Right. Is that the period when we started giving the technical tasks that they do in the office? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, so the growth continued, right? And we figured we might as well try to become a bit more selective even on the technical side of things, because we're still hiring young people, giving them a chance from straight from university and everything, or even without it. But we had as I said, we had to hire a few people, so there was a lot of people incoming. And then in order to be able to focus our attention on those who deserved it the most, we figured we might as well do an additional filter and make sure that they work well in the technical side just as much as the personality side. So yeah, was it Avda? I think he recommended the question or something.
Kerim, I think Kerim proposed first that we start questioning, but Avda prepared the
yeah.
Kerim had one preparation. Kerim had one preparation, and Avda, I think, the other one. But I think initially it was Kerim's idea. Yeah, and during this period, when we stricted the process itself, if you remember, the Kerim did one website for us in Webflow. I think it was, I'm not sure maybe our podcast website or something like that.
Or marketing, or
And no, marketing website was not yet there. And
it could be the podcast then.
it was the podcast. And I saw potential in that Webflow, if you remember. I wanted, I a bit investigated around that one. And as we are having the marketing agency, and of course you will have there a bit, let's say, a less complex projects, and and you want to deliver them as soon as possible, and of course cheaper as possible. So we had a hiring of one new guy there and expanding the services. At the first, you and Karen were against. I cannot remember why, but at the end, we somehow stated we need him for the Webflow, nothing else, no React programming or nothing. We can offer him this position. Yeah. And the good thing for the guy, for Weldon, we told him we are searching you for this position, and he was like having 2 weeks more needed to finish up something. And I remember he came in company Sunday, and he already knew the Webflow. In those 2 weeks, he was keen to learn it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, definitely, as you point out, we weren't impressed, I think, with the technical part of the interview, for sure. As a person, I mean, he was great, but yeah, we just didn't really feel that comfortable, especially since we were just setting up the interviewing process, and so the sentiment was, I mean, if we're gonna accept them anyway, why put them through this test if we're gonna ignore it? So I think that was the thinking behind it. But yeah, as a person, he was a great, and still is. I mean,
gave us boost in the Webflow and marketing. Yeah. That he did a few websites, definitely. And I remember during this period, as Melissa left, Tariq somehow moved from videography to UX UI design. He was also before doing UX UI and videography in parallel. And with the projects coming up, piling up, we needed him full time on the design phase. And I remember the Hassan guy, Mustafa, who basically was his content creator for the platform. And I saw his nice videos on Instagram, on YouTube, that he was doing the thing. And I asked him, do you have anybody to recommend who is same person like you, who has similar interests, and who is good like in video production like you? And he recommended us Hamza, the guy who is helping us with the video production currently and in this podcast and generally in creative stuff in marketing and video production. And I remember I had a first call with him on WhatsApp, 9 evening. He was in Spain, and we were doing like, talking about the sunray, about the thing. He was keen to work to not to work for an agency. And he had some bad experiences for the agencies and companies. And he has already some stuff which he was doing piled up. He was doing like assistant on the university, I think at that moment, not sure. And he had also some of his projects, but he saw something in us. And if you remember when I was telling you, I found a really, really something nice guy who is coming to marketing. And I cannot wait that he comes. I hope that he will accept it. I had a nice interview with him, and then later on he came and met 2 of us, and we spoke about the company,
and left a quite good impression as well in the interview. Yeah, he was.
And that's what are we basically seeking in our company? People who are doing already something with their lives at the early stages of their lives. Not the people who are thinking about their careers or about their passion in 30s, in 40s. Right. No. This is what we love the most about young people, because they bring us even some portion of new knowledge and the energy, which I love the most, definitely.
And they don't have to really talk much. You can just look at what they're doing, and that's telling you plenty. Because if they have ambition, they're going to be doing something. They're not going to be looking for reasons not to do something.
And definitely,
that's a very important thing.
They do not have a like big ego at the beginning, and they are eager to learn, and they even push us in some positive manner to learn, to push forward the things, which I like the most about all the people which we hired, because we came to Sunday basically to third year with 21 employees. Almost nobody of them had a real experience in some kind of agencies or companies. They were like freshmen. Somebody even less than a freshman college, and they were doing amazing job, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows, with a bit of vision and uh, some leadership skills, you can get people to do amazing things if you just point them the right direction and give them the tools that they need and allow them to express their creativeness in the way that they want to. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And by this hiring, it pushed also me and us as a company for let's say marketing that we bring more clients. We already had some kind of setup of way of working, and all of these new people which came in marketing as Hamza also he brought us different perspective on videography definitely that we had currently, and that basically started to push our marketing agencies on next levels slowly and slowly. With the first clients, we already did with Hamza few campaigns. First few months, he was constantly. I remember filming the campaigns, and we were doing the content, which was quite joyful. And we started quite nice expansion in the marketing field itself.
Now that
And
I think about it, it's a funny period for the marketing team because we were literally running on fumes. Just like when we started with Sunray, we didn't have any financing, anything. We just hired a bunch of people that we thought could work together. And I mean, we did have one client or two, but they were definitely far from profitable at that point, right? Yeah. So it just shows the kind of a theme that we have with this. Like when we believe in an idea, we'll invest in it, and give it a try. And eventually, if we just work hard enough, they usually turn out good and pan out, for us. So I think marketing is now also above, profitability line, which is amazing, really. How long was the entire setup period for?
there was a first setup period of I think 1 year, let's say, and then we piled up new people around the December. We piled up more, and if you remember, I told you by 6 months we are going to get to zero, to being profitable, let's say, in the marketing. And I told them before, I don't know, few weeks that we are basically on a nice position there now currently, and we are still growing and expanding there. But this period somehow for me was, I don't know, hectic a bit. I don't know, these decision, people, process itself and everything, and then marketing, the agency, and these problems on the projects. And I felt again too much on my plate. If you remember, Sunday I went on vacation, and before vacation, Amila told me, like, in this room here, Rehan, is it too much for now? Too much things to think of because of the coding part and everything. This which I mentioned, I was coding still, and I went on vacation. I knew that something is bothering me, piling up. And the morning when I came on the Monday, the Sunday was like I still had that weird feeling in stomach that I need to change something. Basically, I was in a probably burnout, some kind of burnout close phase. And I remember I came to you Sunday, enough of coding. I don't know why, but I'm convinced that colleagues will give us the another people. I need to try it. And I don't know how it felt from your perspective, Sandy, when I came like that out of the, let's say, blurry skies.
Well, not just. I mean, everything you said, and then even more. I'm not sure how much you noticed, but marketing was consuming you. I mean, that's.
This was not still the part of marketing, because Esmacate later on.
No, that's all true. But you were constantly looking, and I think this phase started even with Meliha, because I think she was the only employee that we kind of didn't know how to, how to show her the way, because we didn't know much more than she did. at that point. And I think, you didn't like that, and you started investigating and reading about it.
It's not about that we didn't know. I knew about marketing a lot. I've 13 years. I followed the Gary Vee, who is the guru, let's say, of the marketing today. I followed it, not intentionally, because I liked his content and I liked his way of approaching the marketing, and I liked his way of approaching the people, approaching the customers and everything. So I had the knowledge, but I didn't have the let's say proper people around me that I can guide the vision of this marketing team. And when we started piling up the people, right people at the right moment, then it started bursting in a proper direction. But to get to context, not at this moment, Sandy, but later on started marketing a bit piling up when Esma and Amina came, that two more persons that were now 4 or 5 persons inside the marketing team, and we had already some clients, and that was later somewhere in December, and we were making the campaign in November, preparing in October, and this was like starting of October when I started to drop it down. But yeah, it was consuming me time.
It was on your mind. You can say whatever you like, but I know it was.
But it was not like that. Just like marketing, leading the meetings, the problems, resolving problems in the team, sales, negotiation with the clients. I don't know, finances, whatever was piling up at that moment. I was keen to also fix off all of those things, and it was too much, really on the plate.
Well, if you think about it, you can do 1 or 2 things, at a time and do it correctly. As soon as you have more, just the context shifts that you have to make to change because if you think about it, those things are not even close. Coding and, I don't know, finances on one side and dealing with people issues on the other. Mm-hmm. It's just completely different things. You have to completely switch your focus and think about something else. So I can certainly understand how draining that is, and
Yeah, and I got a new baby, which was also 2 months old when we were on vacation, and that was also piling up on all sides.
Yeah,
and I think it was really a good decision that I made. I had that hunch and I was convinced. I remember, okay, I'm leaving, but I think I can switch. Somebody beside me, and I knew that I will provide more to company and bring more value there than taking this value which I'm coding there.
Right.
And we had already settled up relationship, but at the end we also had problems there, if you remember. We proposed the new person, and that person accepted the client.
Oh, okay.
And we already had the meetings, interviews, we settled down everything. And first working day, Sunday, and I was again on vacation. And I was like somewhere inside the pool. Outside was already, I don't know, it was October, probably. It was cold outside and everything. And I was dealing with a phone call, basically, okay, I'm planning to leave the company. I need to finish up the faculty and everything. And how? Man, how?
Yeah,
No, it was still the same vacation. I remember Sandy. He contacted me while I was in Turkey. Then I extended the vacation when I came in Bosnia for a few more days. That second week. I was already starting the talks with him inside the Turkey. And then when I came to Bosnia, he noticed me. I'm quitting. But he started convincing me, I will find a way, I will stay, I want to stay. At the end, he had just one day a job, and he quit. Yeah. And I needed to settle down the things with the client and everything. And that was also piling me up. I said, now I remember.
Yeah, because, and this is what I hinted at in the last episode, right? I remembered it, and I realized it was later on, so I dropped it. But I mean, that's really rough. We really tried to be open with everybody, and we've never done anything that we didn't consult with the people on. So any decision that we make that touches their lives in any significant way, we would first ask them, do you want this? And this guy, I quite, recall being ecstatic to get this opportunity to work for a client. And then, as you say, we finished everything. The interviews went well. The personality was good fit. Everything worked out perfectly. And then out of the blue. So I didn't even know about the part that you were talking before.
Yeah.
I just learned.
I remember now. Even I forgot Sandy. I remember now in Turkey, my wife was like, well, again job, again leave the phone. Why again? Why you can make one vacation without the phone and the job and stuff like that. And yeah, and it stuck me again on vacation that call. And I don't love you know me, Sandy. I don't love to argue over the phone. I don't love written to talk about serious things. I don't love to talk about these things over the phone or either texting. I love it to do it in personally, that we can settle down, that we look at each other, that we can express and feel each other and find a proper, let's say, solution out of that one and get the understanding from both sides. And that was most bothering to me, how you can do
always
it over
happens
the
like
phone.
this.
I was giving quits before in companies. I was always doing it in personally, properly with the paper and everything, but not over the phone. It's not polite. It's not. It's not. I don't know. It's not way of how you should do it. And at the end, we educated all employees. Please, if you do it normally.
Right.
We can settle down everything. We will live again. You're quitting. Quit as a nice person. Do not make out of that one.
You
I don't
walked
know.
into this company with your dignity, so walk out of it with the same dignity.
Yeah.
And everything should work out.
And when I immediately came back from vacation, I had a meeting with the colleagues guy, and then we offered new person, and they were afraid of seniority of that person. And then based on our trust, where I spoke with them, of course, you know that we will provide him support. I will provide him support. Sandy is there also. There are few people who are going to support him, and we did it, and they accepted it. And again, we had an open communication. What happened with them? We told him, we are sorry, but this happened, and it's up to you. You can neglect the person or accept. And then after some talks, I'm glad that they accepted the person itself.
Yeah, I mean, it was too weird a story to even make. When I first thought about it, I mean, my first thought was, will they even believe us that this happened, right? But then on a second thought, I mean, it was too weird to make up. So yeah, it had to be the truth, right? So, but yeah, open relationship always served us well with all of our clients. And this is another example of the same rule. So.
Yeah, definitely. And now we can maybe come back to marketing after this period when this settled down. I was freed up. We started to negotiate with some more clients inside the marketing, and we started our own campaign of releasing our marketing sunray media. And we were preparing the website, and we had some really nice campaign with the outdoor advertisements and also digital preparation of whole going out campaign as a sunray media, and that period took me definitely time, because we planned a lot, we were speaking a lot, we were tweaking the processes, and immediately the things were happening with the clients. I remember now, even Hamza at this period was, as I stated, video production was going in the way, and few more clients and getting on board, and then it's not so easy to onboard the clients in marketing itself. You need to have
personal time with them.
Personal time dedicated to the client, then analysis phase, then preparation phase of everything, then yearly plan which we do with each client. How do we want to address your marketing based on your let's say industry in which you are? And we finally took a graphic designer and first copywriter, Amina, and we expanded the team there definitely. And I don't know how that looked from the other side. Yeah.
Well, again, funny, but now that I reflect on it, it's the same way the Sunray started. Really, we were running on enthusiasm and fumes. I mean, when I say we, I mean you guys, but yeah, we as a team. We knew we were not getting anything out of it, but we knew that if we persevere, somewhere down the line, it's going to be profitable, and everybody's going to feel great about it. So, yeah,
and which is key for us, Sandy. We are building up our own startup. This marketing is key for us If we build up our own startup, we have the passion, energy for it, and if we have a marketing team supporting that one, then we are full product, definitely business development agency, which we want to be at the end, and we are piling up the experience with all of this one. And the good thing now was in marketing, Sandy, we had a person for video, we had a person for copy, we had a person for graphic design, we had also a person who is like let's say helping out, leading these persons and helping out with the documentation and everything in the team and processes and stuff like that, which was quite good at that moment.
Yep. And I think you mentioned the last time, the way it looks now, marketing might be like the first kind of sub-entity that comes out of Sunray, right? That's currently the plan.
Yeah, definitely. It's going in that direction. We told a bold statement that in 3 years we want to be a leading marketing agency in Bosnia, definitely, and then try to expand more. I think we are on a good trajectory because we are surrounded with great people and support. And even this Webflow team came out of the marketing, where we are also thinking expanding more into that one, because there is a market for that one, definitely, even here in Bosnia and abroad. So I think this period was really nice growth phase in that direction also, Sandy. Plenum was somehow a bit stuck in these moments, and we somehow appointed Amina, which we told as a new PM QA here, and we realized a bunch of missing things, and I don't remember when we hired Almir and Damir.
So
I think it was in this
period. That's the period, because we had too many rotations, and at some point we realized that Plenum is just hanging in the air, because we were trying desperately to fill in all the holes with the people who quit, and getting the new clients and everything, and so we were trying to fix all the holes, and then what ended up is that Plenum got the short straw, so we had to pull people from it. And then we realized that we need somebody, if we're going to make the deadlines that we had set ourselves for Plenum. We had to get some more guys, and then I think at some point we realized that no matter what, we'll have to keep some of them on Plenum, even if that means turning down a new client. Yeah, somebody has to stick there and see it through to the end, which is interestingly a thought that we came back to just a few days ago.
Yeah, we are not moving that guy, Sandy. I told at that moment, whatever happens, he must stay till the end. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But I cannot remember even month when we hired two of them.
Oh.
I remember interviews. Damir was quite good on interview. Almir was a bit, let's say, lower and shy on the interview, but I was also keen for him, for hiring him up.
It was definitely late summer. It was very warm. I don't remember, because we were sweating like pigs, all of us, even with the ACs and everything running. So, but I can't tell you the month for sure. It was after our vacations, that's for sure. So maybe August or even September.
Possibly. And we started, and I had also like job at the beginning there to supporting the Amina and the team, because I realized at one moment, if you remember, Sandy, that by the project management specs, we were at the third big epic. But when I dig deeply into the code and I don't even remember why I dig deeply, and I realized, we are not even close to finish first epic, and we started these two slowly a bit. And that moment stuck. Okay, we need to hire people. We need to organize this process better. Then we gave a chance to Amina to be PM QA on this project. And there was first, again, well, as always, starting something new. The first problem in 3 months with me as a PO there, Amina as a PM QA, new developers, and then we needed to settle them to our way of working. Even if it's our internal startup, we have strict rules as on any client. regarding the PRs and everything.
It was also a good chance. I think that's the time where we created this onboarding guide for the tech side as well, and we wanted to see it work on them. So all the documentation that we collected, and we put it in the form of a guide, and then this was a chance to test it and see how well they'll adjust and how quickly they'll adapt the way of working. And I think
definitely the results were amazing, Sandy.
Yeah.
Definitely, we spoke about that one, and also Senad helped them to onboard because he was the first guy who was working there.
Yeah.
And I remember Senad was quite working hardly for a month and a half too, because he was a tech lead. Here in our company, tech lead role is where some senior guy in company is supporting them during that way, and we are also growing that person in a more technical manner, and he's supporting those persons. And I think he also did a quite good job. And later on, and when the Ahmed and Avdo took over, also they were doing a good job there. And Sandy, if you remember, there was again we wanted to hire one more person. And funny story, I was on one, how do you call it, svadba in English?
a wedding.
Wedding in Bihać, my hometown, and I was sitting with my some old friend who was studying here in Sarajevo, and he came back to Bihać, and he's working there. And he saw through podcast about our company, he's listened some nice things about us and everything, and he told me, Rehan, I have a guy for you. He's a really hard-working, dedicated person. He has some experience, not in the companies, not at all. He's self-learner inside the IT itself, and it was the Rifat was the guy, and we brought him to the interview. I don't remember how he did the task, to be honest.
It was okay-ish. I mean, we weren't impressed really, but he did fine. It was a well. Let me just take a step back. The interview task was intentionally a bit harder. We more wanted to see how they think about the problems, even when they can't solve it in the allotted amount of time. We wanted to see how they try. That's
Yes.
what we were looking for. And obviously, I think it took a lot more time than we planned for it. So that's why we weren't impressed. But he did manage to finish, I think, most of the interview task, if my memory serves. So,
Yeah, and the point here was we already piled up a lot of persons. There was also, I told you that there was maybe financially we are not in a phase, but we will need him to, if we want to achieve the goal of pushing Plenum out in July either. We moved it now for August, not of the coding part, because of the other part, like the students itself and preparation for
Right.
going out. And but I think it was a really nice hire there, because he helped us definitely on that one, and also onboarding was good for his side.
for sure.
He even onboarded quite quickly, Sandy.
Yeah, well, he didn't work in IT, but he had some other working experience.
Yes, smaller
before.
projects.
So yeah, I think that, well, not just in the IT at all. He did work some other job, so he was conscientious from it, and he had an edge there. Let's just put it that way. So it was, at least that part of onboarding went a lot easier, and then obviously he's quite a hard worker, so the technical side didn't suffer either, which is a nice thing.
Yeah, definitely. And we also by releasing the podcast episodes, we started like the strategy in marketing, which was from the beginning the intention, basically for the podcast itself, that we start promoting ourselves to particular audience which we know who they are, and that we took the shorts of Sandy and me. And the strategy was basically that we try to give the value and the insights of the sunray itself, that people hear about us and come to podcasts and explore us. And if they have some kind of, let's say, plans for some software development either, or product or marketing itself, that they would come to us. So yeah, definitely this is still ongoing. and we didn't have any let's major any leads during this one. But this is our strategy, which we are trying to push. That because the company itself, it does not sell, at least in these days. Those who sell are basically the founders itself, because they stand the first ground, let's say, of the company. And this was our idea. We waited a lot, but yeah, we are trying, and we are still going in this direction, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, we already went through all of them, so I don't want to repeat our the stories from earlier. But we had a lot of connections from before, and we kind of were lucky enough to establish good working relationships with them again, which is how we got to this point. But going forward, obviously, we needed a strategy to also get new people, and this one was, when you think about it all the way back, this has somehow always been in our talks since day one, that we don't want to do regular, marketing in LinkedIn like most other companies do. We wanted to do something in video format, so we stand out. We want to try something. Then, the idea of podcasts came, and it kind of, this is just I think a closure of the big theme that we started way back. And yeah, I mean, this season is the next step in that process, and hopefully it's going to pay off, but we'll know more in the next season.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, we'll see all about that one. And we have now also some kind of different also strategies which we took, which is good. And that's good part that that at least we started some work on the sales part, because we don't have, unfortunately, salesperson inside the company, at least dedicated. I'm currently doing that job somehow. And yeah. And the funny thing also, which happened, we mentioned the people lead process, Sandy, and everything, and how we were keen to resolve interpersonal problems here inside the company and everything, and we had some knowledge which was built around that one. And I met some therapists, psychological, and I got to an idea that she comes to us and that she gives us more lessons in particular manner. And I remember quite well when I came here with the topics, she was like, "Are you sure?" Like topics for let's say how the person is shaped from the early stages,
Right.
from the early ages, adolescence, the defensive mechanisms, the conflicts itself, then when we've piled up all of these things, the burnout phase itself also was covered here. And then what we quite were doing, I think, well, even without the knowing the terms and psychology behind that one. But we were keen when somebody has the problem, that they invest time and to resolve that circle. Later on, Gestalt is something which is doing that one, which we later on found out during these sessions. And when I mentioned these 4 topics, I asked to last one to be a bit different from this one. And when I proposed to Jana the last 2, I told I want Gestalt and intersectional analysis. She replied me, "Are you sure?" Yes, we are sure. And I think this also helped us a lot to grow in a particular manner, and to grasp, to get the affirmation from other side that this what we are doing is nobody doing. At least she told us that she didn't see this kind of approach to culture and mentality and people personal let's say relationships, and that she was amazed with young people here and energy, and that people in this young age think about the things which we were speaking about. She was in Bosnia, not just in Bosnia, in the world. It's not like these are not hot topics. Let's say.
Well, yeah, I mean, just like everything else, we could have gone the path everybody else has, but we had to try something of our own. Now, so far it has paid off, and we'll see how it turns out. But yeah, Jana was a good catch. I'm only sorry that I didn't really participate in the workshops, but I'm sure you guys are going to come up with some learning sessions from that.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
It will be it
I'll
will
be
be
interested to see those. Sure.
because we have some piled up things now, but after that clearing up, the skills, reshaping of skills is coming, and after that one, definitely that will be the first thing that we do, the probably 6 series of learning sessions also out of this one, and again based on our company and experience and why these topics correlate with the problems which we had, which was quite good. And during this period, I realized somehow, Sandy, that we lost a bit feedback culture. It's not that we lost it completely, but it was less and less there. And I remember in people lead team, I started also to asking from them, and we had a session again, if you remember, during this period. Okay, let's come back. We need the feedback culture. We need it as much as we can, and we need this critical thinking that we know that we are going in a good trajectory. That you like this trajectory. That you like this way of working as we are working. We have those let's say, how do you call it?
The surveys?
Yeah, but we love it in person because it's quite more effective, and you learn people to jump around that weird feeling of being in a fear of say something,
Right.
and to move out of that phase.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it many times before, but we are always soliciting feedback from people, and sometimes we make a small breakthrough, and somebody opens up and gives us a few nuggets, which usually help us in a major way down the road somewhere that we make decisions to adjust the course, and they don't even know it. Like they're writing about something completely else. Avdo had that particular way earlier in the company where he would just write something and then it would stun us and then move us in a different direction. But yeah, now that you mention it, it did kind of taper out at that period, and then definitely I think the workshops that you later set up, I think helped a lot with that, because you just collect everybody in a room and then ask them to start talking, and then you, as soon as one person opens up, it kind of triggers other people to also participate, and then it always ends up in a good place, because you learn how they think, how they feel, and then obviously when you have the feedback, you can do something about it. But if you don't know, even if they resent you for something, you can't really know until they tell you. So it's a problem you can't solve in that case.
Yeah, definitely, and it's a good thing that we also brought back those sessions, open communication and mindset, we call them, where we work on these things regularly each 2 months, I think, and like technical side also has their own learning sessions, which is also quite good. The marketing team is now somehow also introducing that part, that we share the knowledge and experience, which is quite good. And maybe to also point out in this period, during the weekend, if you remember, I found out we knew that it's coming, because the plan with Hassan was, let's say, until the October, but we in the end extended it to December. And at the December, I got the notice again on the weekend in some late hours from the Hassan that we are not breaking up the cooperation, but that we are, let's say, going into a retainer mode.
Yeah.
We're downsizing the stuff. We shape the product itself quite well, and that we are downsizing the development and everything, and that the focus is on getting the companies to start using more Hirebasis, as he has a really nice user base there. And I remember quite well that the guys took it a bit. It was a bit weird in front of the whole company saying this. Oh, we are losing the client and everything. But at the end, the guys, for example, Ahmed, I remember he needed to go to a vacation, like 2 weeks. He already reserved it, and he told me, as we are finishing, I can move out my vacation. It's nothing super important. It doesn't matter for me. Like, is it this week or the next week? So he moved his vacation, that he helped us to finish these last steps.
Yeah, it was really
with
cool.
Hassan.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Nice move by him. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. And Kerim was also there helping out.
For sure.
And yeah.
Well, yeah, it was as you say. that was our first like bigger client downsizing. So again, something new that we learned, and we were also at a point like we had to think about. We just hired a bunch of people who are just onboarding on client on the Plenum work, and then this would obviously eat into the finances, and then we had to sit down and recalculate and make sure that we can sustain it. And then when we did, we realized, okay, so maybe we won't be earning much, but we can survive this. And
Yeah.
so as luck would have it, so everything went, well, as I said, I mean, we didn't earn much, but we didn't lose anybody. We didn't have to cut on any raises or anything. So that's a really great how it shaped
And
up.
what I love out of these moments is that my brain immediately starts to trigger some things, even unrelated to the moment. If you remember, I immediately came you from when I came from Bihać, I came you with a strategy for next period, how we can address and let's say move these persons who now got freed up to particular projects. And I remember telling you it will not be easy. It will not be in next 2-3 months. Probably Sunday, as always, 5th, 6th month is somewhere around when these things happen, and we will talk about that one in the episode. I remember that thought came to me inside of meeting, which was not even related to sales or people, something else, and we had a plan which was a bit different what ended up at the end, but it was a bit, let's say, similar, and it starts to pile up now properly, but we will see and speak about that one.
And we also noticed the pattern that it kind of always happened for us that way. Like we enter the year, we do all these preparations, everything. We hire the people, we make the moves, add the hooks, everything set up, and then like just as we want to go to vacations, things start happening, and usually that's how it plays out. And every year it's been like that. So
yeah, and one more thing happened. If you remember, I came up with a proposal, and then that we dismantle our board, because at that moment the board was somewhere like two persons there. That we disassemble it, and because of the let's say this people leadership side and then the technical side, we decided to call it now like a management. First line of management, which it is at the end, and we decided to expand this one to now I think 5 persons. Sandy, if I'm 5 persons.
Yes, it's 5 now. Yes, if you think about it, it was never really a board, right? We called it board for lack of a better name, but we just had a couple of or 2 or 3 people who were with us, helping us make decisions, have a voice of the employees weigh in when we decide something. And that was a kind of a too small sample of people, and we needed, as you say, people who are coming from the technical side as well from the people lead side, because they're there in the front lines every day, and they understand what's happening with the people on both of these sides. So it was only natural to kind of declare them the board, or whatever we call it, the management now. But it's the same principle, it's just we're changing names. So a group of people that are leading in their own fields and helping maintain the core values and the culture of the company, and hopefully educating new persons who are going to join there in the future. So it was
and there were some like tough decisions of moving people which we needed to make, and I'm glad that people accepted it nicely. And even there were people which let's say because of the lack of designer on internal project who didn't have experience in the design, we just piled them up there to help us out with that one and to get some experience. Of course, we always ask the person, do you want to work on it? And they said yes. And then somehow this let's say bad thing, and I always like to tend first see what's positive out of this bad thing which happened. And the positive thing is when people freed out of that project, we immediately played the chess figures to assemble Plenum and to put it in a better shape, which at the end we did. And yeah, sometimes you need to make rotation based on what you have, and you need to do with what you have, like similar like in football. It's similar. You have what you
Yeah.
have out of the people, and you need to be creative, and you need to be able to trust the people, to give them an opportunity to try out the things. Sometimes they play out good, sometimes they do not play out good, but buy you time and let's say
You can think up of a better solution.
yes.
Yeah, for sure.
And this was also in these moments there were some key moments which we needed to switch the chessboard and to make some of these decisions, but at the end it played out really nicely, which is great.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we can end up here, or either we are going to start next 6 months. If you want to add something, Sandy.
No, it's just it keeps getting better and better. Every year we're learning so many new things, and yeah, I think this is a good place to end it. This is like we again achieved all that we hoped for. Our plan in terms of like how many people we saw joining us. We even had to again stop hiring because we didn't want to go over what we planned for, because we just knew even if we could financially support it, it would be really hard to onboard that many people in the culture at the same time. So we still reached our goals in that sense even before we planned, and then everything worked out well with the clients. And finally, I think the only kind of thing that we didn't really keep on schedule was Plenum, which is a bit more, took a bit more time than we expected, but even that is, not that much, and it's
Yeah, definitely.
getting fixed.
It's good that it took good trajectory, and it's now going in a pace and a really good direction, and we are hoping that, not hoping, I'm quite certain that we are hitting now the goals, and then we even have bigger plans, not just for the Bosnia, but we can speak that maybe in the next episode.
Yeah, so I would leave it there. I mean, in a conclusion for the entire year, again, it just showed that, if you just have a clear vision what you want to do and hunker down and stick by it, persevere, in the end, it kind of pays off. It always does. Be open about it, do your
Yeah,
best, and
yeah,
yeah.
definitely.